Dragons fans, it's Jayden here with another edition of OPPO View, where we sit down and discuss our upcoming matchup for this round's game. This week we're against the Fremantle Dockers back at home under the roof at Marvel this Saturday night. This is the last straw, to be perfectly honest with you. There's no room for mistakes anymore. It is now or never for the Saints. And looking statistically at the Fremantle Dockers, while they're 5-4, they've had some really good wins. They've had some really sort of not so good losses. I don't want to throw last week's in that category just yet, given they found out probably about 12 hours before the game that a previous teammate of theirs had passed away. So it was a quite emotional game for them. You can see the experienced leaders in Pearce, Fife, the players that have played around McCarthy that had passed away, how much it meant to them. So I don't want to put that into their sort of form guide, because I feel like that was definitely an anomaly in relation to how they're playing. But their midfield's absolutely stacked. They've got Brayshaw, they've got Sarong, two really classy in and under guys who can use the ball really, really well. They've got Ryan off the back line, who's an absolute menace. Really good intercept marking, really good facilitator of the ball. Chucking Jordan Clark, who's been in some pretty good form this year, a former Cat who got traded a few years ago. He's really solidified himself down back, probably on the opposite side of Ryan, but really able to use the ball and use the carry that he can bring to that Fremantle attack. And then you go forward, and you've got the likes of Luke Jackson who can push forward, Michael Walters who's always dangerous, he's got the X factor. Josh Treacy, he's come out of nowhere, he's been in some really good form. Yeah, they're looking a whole lot better than what they did last year in terms of structure wise. But in saying that, they've had some real blemishes as well. So against North Melbourne, they were down by 40-50 points and they were able to come through and scrape through. I think it was like a 10-15 point win. They've lost to the West Coast Eagles, and they lost to the Sydney Swans last week. They had a really tight loss against Port in Adelaide, which I don't think was all their fault. There was a few umpiring decisions going against them in that one. So they've been a little bit up and down, inconsistent, and we hope that this week that's another case where they do struggle to find their form for whatever reason, and we can really utilise that and capitalise. And as I said, it's the last straw. It is make or break now in relation to starting to get some wins on the board. So some areas of worry I have for us is their centre clearances. They've got a really strong midfield group, as I said, Fife, Sarong, Brayshaw, O'Meara, who's been in and out as a sub for the start of the year. He's still got quality, and they're really utilising that short-term burst from him. They got Darcy back and Jackson, formidable lineup from a ruck point of view for Rowe. And there's a question mark on Hayes so far, so interesting to see what he can do there. Rowe's been in some really good form. Probably, I honestly say after last week, he'd probably be top 2 in the best and fairest right now. How important he is, how vital he is to our structure, and even then it still doesn't work. So Rowe's been in some really good form, so it's a match up for him to really show us what he can do. Down back, I don't feel like the defence has actually been okay. I think we've been quite strong, and you said sort of games getting a little bit better. The problem probably is at the moment is the ball movement going forward. If you look through the stats, you can see the defenders have always got 10, 12 marks each. But that's because us chipping around the back and not being able to sort of move the ball freely through the middle, which is what we're wanting to do. So hopefully that changes a little bit this week, where we can really, as I said, utilise the speed and the run and carry under the roof of Marvel to really utilise that corridor, and we don't see too much just cheap kicks in the back line. Possession-wise, they're a heavy possession team from an uncontested point though, so which is a real concern. They do like to get on the outside. They like to use their runners. As I mentioned before, Ryan, Clark, two big ones on them that really utilise that width and can really push the ball forward and get into their forward line. And we all know as soon as you get the ball entries in quick, and into your forward line. That, you know, all you need is just a little bit of flair, a little bit of magic, and a little bit of composure, and you can really put a score on us quite quickly. So that's the concern I have this week, is their running game and their outside game with their uncontested possessions, and in the midfield as well. So it's a really big task this week for Steele. Hill, Ross, Crouch is a possible back if he comes in, and our forward line, especially the small forwards, to really minimise the impact that Ryan and Clark can make this week. So that's all from me this week. Just to summarise again, that it is Ryan and Clark who are, I think, the two damaging sort of ball users off the half-back line, and then really to narrow down that midfield core group. There's no particular person we need to shut down, it's just a collective to really minimise that. And we need to start, utilising the ball forward on our end to start kicking some winning scores. So that's all from me this week. Again, I do appreciate you guys tuning in every week to listen to my views of the opposition. It is Saturday night, Marvel Stadium. Again, I know that the results haven't been there this year, but let's get down there, let's support the lads. And, as I said, the winning needs to start now, and hopefully we can kick it off this week. So as always, go Saints.